Hello, my name is Richard Chase and welcome to Interconnect. For the past 20 years or so, I've been delivering the more traditional style of events and conferences, but it was a chance conversation that I had with Simon Arrowsmith just a couple of weeks ago where we came up with the idea of an online conference around the future of work. Our initial thoughts were maybe we could get 40 or 50 people to join us, but I'm pretty thrilled that as I speak now, we have over 350 delegates joining us today, predominantly from the UK, many from the US, but also countries represented here today such as Argentina, Nepal, Bolivia, Russia, South Africa. So thank you one and all, very much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy the session. Now, there is a chance for you guys to interact. There's a chance for you to submit questions. There's a Q&A section. So feel free to do that. Simon will do his best, obviously, to get to them during the event. If we don't, then we will seek out the speakers that you're asking your question to and get an answer and sent back to you. However, if you do manage to submit a question, I have copies of books here, which we will be sending out to all those people that do submit one. We've got 2 books by Gary Birtwistle, Who Stole My Mojo and Keys to Creativity, as well as Simon's book, Brand You. So sit back and relax, enjoy the event, very much appreciate your support, and over to Simon.
Thanks, Richard. Great to be here. I'm so excited for today. I hope all of you are somewhere cool this afternoon. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we seem to be having a bit of a heat wave, so forgive me if I look a bit flushed. So here we are, conferences in our living rooms. Personally, I like it. It feels more relaxed, more casual, more human. And while I might be in a shirt up here, I can rest assured I am wearing shorts and not trousers. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping first. You'll notice that over on the side of the screen, there are some areas you can interact with us. There's a chat section to leave your thoughts and comments. And there's also a question section. Leave questions and we'll do our best to answer them via text throughout the session and via video in our panel at the end in the session if we have time. It's quite a tight schedule today. And it's our first time. So if there are technical hiccups, please do bear with us. We do have a brilliant 2 hours ahead of us. We've got presentations, conversations, and stories. And stories are what I do. They are my working world and have been since I was 18, since my first job in professional theatre. I still do actually work in theatre, but the majority of my work is in helping individuals, teams, and brands to sort of find, craft, and share their story. You probably already know that stories are a powerful communication tool, but honestly, that's just the tip of a very large iceberg. Stories they're how we see the world, how we make sense of information, how we relate to other people, and how we understand ourselves. When this global pandemic began at the start of the year, after the initial shock, I kind of went into crisis mode. My inner storyteller went into overdrive. And I know how it works. I can usually control it and calm it and control my thinking, but your inner storyteller is so powerful, and I let it take over. I sort of spiraled. I went full tragedy. I thought, what now? What happens? Who is going to need to learn about stories in a pandemic or in the recession that is about to follow? What can I do? And I started to hear all these narratives being played on sites like LinkedIn. It's time to pivot your business, time to shift what you do. And I thought, how else can I help? What do people need now? I let go of the tools and techniques that actually I'd built over decades, and I allowed this negative storyteller in my mind to hijack me. There are tools that I've used that have seen me through some really challenging times, through battles with mental health, through loss, through change, but I allowed chaos to reign, confusion, about my place and my worth. It took a conversation with some of the speakers you'll be hearing from today, actually, to sort of jolt me out of that spiral. Pivot? Why would I pivot? Story is actually more important than ever. And not the surface, help me make my presentation better kind of story. This pandemic is just a warm-up, if I'm honest. It's a warning sign. Our world is heading for much bigger and faster change. And I think we've been hiding. CEOs, boards, I think they're hiding. Governments, I think they're hiding. Workplace disruption through automation and AI, it's not coming. It's already here. It's already changed how we work, and we've just had, or we're currently having, a lesson at speed about what that future might really look like for us. So what's all that got to do with stories? Well, the one thing a computer can't do, not really, not yet, is be a human. And humans, we have stories at our core. We are made of our stories. And as our workplaces become more automated, more remote, more challenging, at least in this transition phase, we'll need stories to help us navigate who we are and how we fit in. We'll need stories to help us understand ourselves and what our purpose is on this planet. What really is it? Stories connect us. They create bonds and trust. They generate empathy. And now is the time to really dig deep into the skill of story. And I'm sure that some of you might be thinking, "Oh, this sounds all a bit, woo, a bit new agey." I'm sure, but honestly, this is the difference. At least 20 million jobs apparently will be automated within the next 10 years. So by 2030, according to a study by Oxford Economics. What does that mean for how we see ourselves? How we hold ourselves in relation to our job identity, to the stories we tell ourselves about who we are? I don't actually do storytelling. Storytelling is, well, it can often be a sham if we look at some of the examples around the world, particularly in politics. Storytelling is what the brain does. It creates a reality for us to live in, but it's only a part of the story toolkit. What I do, what I'm good at, is story listening. It's story crafting. It's story sharing, unpacking how stories work in the mind, in our conversations, and in our media. And once you see that story, the pattern, it can be really liberating. The storytelling mind can be a heroic helper, or it can be a tragedy maker. It never goes away. It's always lurking there to either help you or hijack you. And, if you start to understand more about how it works, you can then learn how you can make it work in better ways for you. Today, we're going to hear some great stories. So I'm going to encourage you to try and actively listen with your storytelling brain. So consider the ways the stories that are shared with you, how are they formed? What characters are presented? Do you relate to them? Do you empathize with them? Or, can you learn from them? What are the messages within the story? What's the moral? What's being conveyed? Question yourself. How is that being structured? What conflicts are being created, both from the speaker's story, but also in yourself? What questions does it throw up? Today is all about international connection. We've got representatives in the audience and on the stage or sofa from all over the world. So our human stories are a key part to that international connection. I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited we're starting this. I can't wait to do more of these, and I can't wait for you to hear some of these fantastic stories.